Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Lola or Lola. If it's your first time, then hello. If it's not your first time, welcome back, and I'm glad you're here again. So today's topic will be about something I'm really passionate about, but due to my job, my full-time job, it has been quite hard for me to be consistent sometimes, but I wanted to make a video, and yeah, that topic is Spanish. So I've been learning Spanish I've been in and out. I went to Mexico in 2024 and I came back in June 2024 is when I started taking Spanish more seriously. And yeah, it's been in and out. I had to pause the language learning for a bit due to other creative pursuits. And yeah, I'm trying to pick it up again, but it is quite hard. I think after this video, I think I should do some more Spanish. But yeah, I wanted to do this topic because I feel like it's kind of like it's kind of something that we should address when it comes to language learning. And that is, speed does not necessarily equal depth. And yeah, a lot of people, when they have goals in language learning, they say they want to be fluent, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be fluent, but the thing is, fluency means different things for different people. A lot of people are fluent, they learn fluency very quickly, but at the same time they don't have a lot of, they can speak well, they can speak conversationally, they can speak about the basic stuff, but then when it comes to the deeper stuff like religion, politics, stuff like that, when it comes to those kind of topics, they kind of stumble a bit, they kind of struggle. They're kind of like, okay, I'm fluent in this, but I'm not fluent in that, and that's fine. Some people don't need to be fluent in, the really difficult topics. Sometimes conversational Spanish or whatever language you're learning is fine, but at the same time, I don't want you to get, basically I'm trying to say, I don't want you to get too discouraged if someone is speaking quickly in another language that you're learning. I don't want you to get too discouraged if you're not picking up the speed as fast as you want to, or if you're making mistakes, basically. Because at the end of the day, yeah, someone might speak quickly, but they might be making a lot of mistakes. They might be mixing up their tenses. They might be, I don't know, they might be mixing up their tenses. They might be making errors, grammatical errors. They might be saying the wrong words. Whereas someone who speaks slower, I wasn't trying to say slower is kind of better in a way. Whereas someone who speaks slower, they might speak slow, but they're very well understood. They're not rushing, they're thinking well. I'm not saying that speaking fast is bad, of course not. If you're naturally fluent in a language, obviously speaking fast isn't bad, absolutely not. I'm just trying to say, instead of focusing much on speed, instead of focusing, all right, I want to be fluent in Spanish in like 3 months, 4 months. If you're trying to focus too much on speed, it can actually hinder you because you might forget what you learned. Whereas if you focus more on depth, if you focus more on really trying to master tenses, if you focus more on really trying to master the language, trying to understand matices, sutilezas in Spanish, basically the nuances, the subtleties of Spanish, las conversaciones más profundas en español, like the conversations, deeper conversations in Spanish, they kind of struggle a little bit because they haven't built that vocabulary, they haven't built that skill. So basically what I'm trying to encourage you to do is, if you are learning a language, don't just focus on how fast you're learning it. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, enjoy learning. Don't focus too much on how fast you get there. Don't be discouraged if it's taking too long. Just focus on really mastering. I want to challenge you. I want you to try and master the difficult topics if necessary. Try and tackle the difficult topics. Don't struggle if you're not. Don't give up if you're struggling. Try and tackle the difficult topics. Try and go beyond but try and go past your comfort zone in language learning. Because yeah, just because somebody speaks fast, yeah, they might speak well, but again, when it comes to the more difficult topics, they might struggle a little bit. Don't get too discouraged if you're still learning another language and you see someone speaking muy rápido en español, or francés, or cualquier lengua, or whatever language you're learning. They might speak well, they might speak fast, they might speak rapidly, but you might have more depth. You might be able to tackle, you might be able to write very, very well. You might be able to speak very, very well about your feelings, about your day in a very, very detailed way. But then that other person might not be able to do that. So I'm basically saying that if you want to reach depth in a language, not just if you want to reach depth, if you want to build your skills in a language, focus more on depth. Speed isn't bad, but it shouldn't be the only thing that you focus on. Focus more on depth, you know what I mean? And trust me, depth will take longer to come. Depth will take a while. It will be slow, but it will be so rewarding. I guess I'm just saying this because, like, in my language journey, my writing is and like understanding of Spanish is a lot stronger than my speaking. I'm not gonna lie. I don't live in a Spanish speaking country. I'm not surrounded by it, so I've kind of had to do it myself. My speaking is good, I guess, but my writing is a lot better because I can think about what I'm saying, stuff like that. And yeah, and I would say my writing is quite strong. I am aiming for, you know, C1. I do feel like I can do it by hopefully next year. Thankfully, I'm not like starting from scratch. I feel like I've really got a solid foundation of the language. I recognize all the tenses. It's just using them correctly. I'm very passionate about it, but sometimes I don't always have the time to do the language. And yeah, so I really want to push myself. I really want to start speaking more advanced. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say. If you are aiming for more advanced, don't be too discouraged if it's taking you a long time, because at the end of the day, depth is what matters more than speed. Don't rush your goals in language learning, and don't be too discouraged if you see someone that says, oh, I learned Spanish in 3 months, I learned Spanish fluently in 3 months. Don't be deceived by that. Don't be discouraged by that, because yeah, they learned Spanish quickly, but maybe their understanding or maybe their knowledge of the language is quite shallow, or maybe they're forgetting words they learn. Whereas someone who really studies the language, someone that really goes in depth, someone that really sits down and tries to understand why, for example, when we use convertirse versus, no sé, volverse, or when we use acrescentar versus acumular, yeah, stuff like that. Basically, when we use the first one means, if you don't understand, the first one means to become, and the second one means to increase, like stuff like that. And the other day I had to research cuál es la diferencia entre calmar, tranquilizar y sosegar. Like those 3 words, they both mean to calm down, but they're like different subtext, they're different like scenarios, stuff like that. So yeah, don't be too discouraged. Don't focus on speed, focus on really sitting down and understanding the language. And even if it takes you longer, honestly, it's more rewarding. But yeah, hopefully you've understood something. I don't know if I'm making sense in a way. Yeah, but I'm not saying speed is wrong. I'm not saying speed is bad. Obviously not. I'm not saying everybody should aim for C1 if that's not what you want to do, if that's not what you need. Obviously, whatever language, whatever level you want to achieve, it's absolutely fine. But don't let speed be the end goal. You know what I mean? If you get what I mean, don't focus so much on speed that you like lose focus of language learning. And again, don't be too discouraged if you're not where you want to be. Just keep pushing. It's always harder before it gets easier. There's a quote I know that says, the master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. And I've also printed like a lot of Spanish. I will print off 2 inspirational Spanish quotes on my wall so I can look back at them when I feel discouraged. And yeah, if you're really passionate about it, the amount of time it takes you to achieve that goal shouldn't matter. It doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, and don't compare your language learning to other people, because they might be fluent now and you're learning the language, but when you're fluent, they could have forgotten stuff. And another thing I like to tell myself is, if I were to swap lives with somebody who was Spanish speaking, yeah, I could have their fluency, but I would also have to carry their baggage, and goodness knows what they're going through. Goodness knows what they are. Basically, if you want someone else's fluency, you have to take everything else that comes with it. Sometimes it's good stuff, like nothing wrong, but it wouldn't feel the same way because you haven't earned that fluency for yourself, if I'm making sense. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Hopefully you took something from this. And yeah, speed does not equal depth. Not just language learning, anything in life really. Speed does not equal depth. You can earn something fast, but you can lose it just as quickly. It's better to build, for example, it's like building a house. It's better to build bricks, you know, like building a house takes years. It takes months, if not years. You can't build Rome in a day. And it's the same thing for language learning. You cannot learn a language in one day. It's not possible. Sometimes it takes months, sometimes it takes years, sometimes it even takes decades. It doesn't matter how long, but as long as you don't give up and you really love what you're doing, you really love the language, and yeah, just keep going, keep pushing yourself. And yeah, hopefully this video made sense. Hopefully it resonated with you. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So goodbye. Bye.